Hi, and welcome to the online series masterclass in support of regional conference involvement for graduate students. So we are going to take about 30 minutes to talk about the regional conference, really talk about engaging graduate students and how you can make the most of your experience even after the conference. So thank you for being here with us. The conference theme is really talking about what it means to be in the heart of it all. So this year's conference is November 15th through 17th in the beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. We're very excited, and it's the first regional joint conference between Region 4 East and Region 4 West. It'll be a great time, and we are very excited to engage all of our students, but professionals, but really looking at how we can engage our graduate students. So those involved in master's programs as well as doctoral programs. Throughout this masterclass online series, you'll be able to ask questions, and you can ask that to our Facebook page at NASPA NPGS Roman numeral 4-E, or you can email us at npgs4@gmail.com, or you can ask right on our YouTube page that you're viewing through now. So again, thank you for being here with us, and we'll have the opportunity to talk about what it looks like to get involved at this year's regional conference in the heart of it all. So we do have some learning goals, and really we want for attendees to be able to consider the conference logistics, to learn a little bit more about how to navigate the conference, to learn how to plan your programs in the way that's most effective for you as a learner, as well as to talk about the GAP program. The GAP program is the Graduate Associate Program, and it's been going on within NASPA from the NASPA office for several years now, and is a great opportunity for graduate students at all levels to get involved and to be an advocate for NASPA and involvement at the regional and national level. So before we get started, I would love to introduce myself. I am Jamie Lewis-Flanaugh, and I am the current regional representative for new professionals and graduate students within Region 4 East. I also serve on the conference committee for the 4 East 4 West Conference, and I serve with the gentleman here that will introduce himself in a moment as the GAP engagement co-chair. So I will let Tyler introduce himself, and then we can share a little bit more about what we do.
Good afternoon. I'm Tyler Page. I'm at the University of Missouri, and I work in residential life, and I have the honor and privilege of working with Jamie as the co-chair for the GAP process. And I'm going to kind of jump in. We're going to talk a little bit about conference registration, how to go ahead and get plugged into the conference to make sure you're situated. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is that early bird registration for the conference ends on October 3rd. So please mark your calendars. If you're planning on attending the conference, go ahead and make sure that you're prompt with doing that. On the site, you should be able to see the conference registration website, and so you can go to the conference website, get in there, get registered. I'm going to make 2 points. So student registration is $160 if you're not a NASPA member. If you are a member, student non-membership cost is $190. And so if you want to go ahead and you can sign up via NASPA for membership or renew your membership if you're looking for that discount. After October 3rd, the prices will jump for our members. So after early bird, student registration is $175. And so as Jamie mentioned earlier, the conference will kick off on November 15th. And so registration opens that day, or it opens the day prior if you need to get in earlier. The opening session will kick off at 1 p.m. But what I want to bring to your attention is that when you show up at the registration table, if you're a GAP participant, Jamie and I will have a packet waiting for you. It's going to have some conference logistics in there, some tips of how to approach it, and we're going to highlight some programs and some opportunities for you to engage in. And we'll kind of point out some of those throughout the presentation as well. Jamie, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the Meetup Social. Are you still there, Jamie? Jamie? So I think we may have lost Jamie just for a second, but so one thing I'm going to highlight as far as for we're going to have a meetup social, and that's going to take place on Wednesday the 16th. It's at 7 p.m. and it's in collaboration with the new professionals and graduate students KC and the technology KC. And so our ultimate goal with this meetup social is for you to meet with peers, meet with those individuals that have a similar interest as yourself. And then we're going to get together, have some small talk, develop relationships that we believe will better your conference experience, as well as your professional development and professional connections thereafter. And so we'll provide some more details closer to the conference or once you're there, but we strongly encourage you to join us for that meetup social. We'll be going to a location or restaurant that's actually right next to the conference location. One thing I want to point out to your attention, we have lost Jamie temporarily, so there's a fire alarm, and so she's going to have to tend to her work business, and hopefully will join us back shortly. So I'm going to keep going. So one thing we want to point out are some potential opportunities for you to engage in the conference at a different level. And so this year, the joint conference is going to offer 3 internship opportunities. The first is going to be for a conference committee internship, and that's exactly what it sounds. And so if you are the intern for that, you're going to be assisting the conference committee with logistics, as far as for material distribution, pickup, the odds and ends, anything that you can think of, we would look for you to assist with that. The other internship opportunity is technology. And so this would be setup, troubleshooting, any kind of handling of our AV technology that may be needed. And the final internship opportunity that we have would be for social media. And so you would monitor, you would post, you would engage with conference attendees via social media. And on our site, we'll go ahead and we'll show you how you can gain access to those internship applications. The deadline for all 3 of them for applying is October 7th. So please kind of make note of those. They're wonderful opportunities, not only to gain experience at the conference, but also to network with the professionals that are helping put on this conference. And I think it'll kind of add a layer to your experience and your professional development. Jamie, are you back with us now? I think you're still.
Hi.
Hi.
So in true residence life form, an alarm system went off to make sure that everyone is set up for emergency notifications. So that's always a good thing. So thanks for rolling with it, Tyler. I know you were talking about conference involvement, and I can do nothing but echo that and say how important these internships are. Last year, Jessica and Nikita served as the 4 East conference interns, and they've now gone on to do amazing, great things as new professionals, but it's a great opportunity for them to get involved and to really see some behind the scenes work.
So what we want to jump into now is, ideally, you're attending the conference, you're engaging with the conference. We're going to talk about professional development. And so when a lot of people consider a conference, one big component of that is networking. And what does that mean for you? And so prior to your arrival at the conference, I want you to consider, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you somewhere in between? And begin thinking about how can you maximize your experience at this conference. And so that way you can be much more intentional on how you engage with individuals and who you seek out. And so if you're an introvert, go ahead and plan your time that you may need to recharge, because it's going to be a bustling conference. Since it's a regional joint conference through large regional associations, you're going to find a lot of people in St. Louis. If you're somebody that needs to process a little bit prior to the presentations, consider what questions and information you're seeking from that particular program before you walk in there. Also, as far as for GAP, if you're going to be traveling to the conference by yourself, please do not hesitate to use GAP, to use kind of our social as kind of a core group of people that you can be comfortable around, that you can go eat dinner with, go seek out for lunch. Jamie and I will be very present throughout the conference. Please don't hesitate to come up with us with questions or anything that you may need for insight. We want you to be comfortable there. We want you to engage there. So please know we are a resource to you, as well as your fellow GAP peers, or just fellow graduate students that may be around the conference.
Yes, thank you. And also, you know, when you're looking at selecting your programs, making sure to be very intentional about how you're going about it. So hopefully the work that we're doing is looking at our professional development as graduate students or new professionals. And what you can look at is where are the gaps in terms of things that you're looking to learn or experience, and how can the conference really be a support system for that. So making sure you're using good use of your professional development funds or your personal funds to get the most out of this conference. So, you know, there are different things happening, whether they are socials, they're business meetings, which graduate students are welcome to attend and encouraged to attend, actually, as you get to see the intricacies of the conference and the regional work that people are doing. But in selecting the programs, you're able to look prior and be able to view the conference details to say, okay, this sounds like something that I am very interested in. I would love to attend this session. And here's the time and place, but also here is the presenter of this session. So definitely check that out. And then always review the NASPA ACPA competencies. They are being revised all the time and looked at to really say how can they fit the work that we do, and how can they be of support for everyone within our constituency. So, and then the last thing is, during your conference registration, there will be handouts as well as on our Facebook page regarding specific program sessions that are tailored for graduate students. And that's very important because sometimes it's a lot to take in when you go to a regional conference. And so you can look at this guide and say, okay, these are some of the things tailored for me specifically as a graduate student. How can I make the best of these resources that are provided? And it will again highlight our social, our meetup social, which will be happening Wednesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. of the conference. So mark the date, save the date.
One thing I want to jump in, when we're talking about professional development, one thing to keep in mind is how do you continue the experience after you leave the conference? And so Jamie's talked about programs, about being intentional. I just recently talked about how do you network and be social, and a lot of that does not end once the conference ends. And so to give you a couple tips and strategies, what I want you to think about is when you meet somebody, take it beyond just small talk. Get to know who they are, what institutional they're associated with, what their kind of area of expertise or work pertains to. And then following the conference, email that individual to continue to establish that relationship and take it further than just that small talk opportunity in the elevator or following the program. Additionally, if you attend a presentation, don't hesitate to follow up with those presenters, either immediately following the presentation or via email if you're looking for more content. For somebody to kind of share program ideas and insight within 50 minutes, it's really difficult for a lot of presenters, so they love the opportunity to continue that conversation after the conference. So please don't miss out on those opportunities.
Yeah, Tyler, just like what you said, I think a lot of people are very excited. A lot of presenters are very excited to, you know, send you their presentation to talk more about what this can look like at your campus. And as a graduate student, whether master's or doctoral program, you should always feel empowered to be able to bring this information back and say, this is how I see it fitting at my institution. So I would definitely encourage that as well. But you are not alone. So when you go to the regional conference and when you're at your home institution, depending on where you are, there are going to be gaps there. And gaps are our graduate associates who are working, who've applied for this position within the NASPA office and have said, I am committed to being a resource and a liaison between NASPA and my home institution. And that's an amazing opportunity because you get to see and know a lot of information about NASPA, but you also get to share that with others. And how better way to learn than to be able to articulate something and really be able to put something into practice. So I served as a NASPA GAP several years ago, and I've had the opportunity to make amazing connections and friendships throughout the years because of this position that I've held. And people have found it very valuable to do so. So on one end, I would definitely encourage folks for the next year's cohort to consider being a graduate associate, as the second round of deadline just passed yesterday. And we do have an amazing cohort geared up for 2016, 2017. On another note, I did want to share a little bit about what these GAPs do. So GAPs are charged with doing a lot of different things that really allow them to support graduate students. They are there to say it is okay to get involved. It is okay to go to the regional conference. It is okay to network, and it's encouraged, but also on your home campus, that it's okay to have questions about NASPA and FIT. So it is not just for senior level administrators, it is for all. And how do we make sure that we're playing our role in getting involved? So the NASPA office directly supports the graduate associates, and it's a great opportunity. So check out the website, the NASPA.org website, and see if you have a gap at your home campus, or you can contact Tyler or myself and we can let you know if you have a gap at your home campus. These people, if they're not at your campus, we can connect you with a graduate associate, a gap, in your local area. So not every school has one, and if you're saying there's a gap to be filled, no pun intended, at your home institution and you're really looking to get involved, let us know and we'd be happy to connect you with the person that is overseeing the work that the graduate associates are doing. They're hosting networking events on their campuses. They're hosting meetup socials on their campuses, presentations, and more.
All right, so to kind of pick up where Jamie left off, so if you're a gap, you're on your home campus and you're looking for opportunities or ways to engage with fellow graduate students, we're going to share a couple tips. First of all, you have to establish that relationship. And so this may be the first time that you've heard of a gap or you have applied. And so you may be the first at your institution in many years to have served as a gap. And so what we want you to do is reach out and say hello to your fellow students, explain what you're doing as a gap, what your role is, and how you're able to connect with them at a local level to the larger NASPA organization. Help them kind of understand how every program is different and every student has a variety of different experiences. And so you're going to basically be that liaison to help them maximize their experience, not only really through NASPA, but also the student experience or the student affairs experience. And so as far as for kind of recruiting, be able to speak about your role and your vision as a gap and what you're attempting to do. And then you're looking for a document, a list of graduate students you can reach out to. So if you're in a cohort program, maybe that's a little bit easier done. But if you're more, I don't know, not necessarily commuter-based, but if it's not a cohort-based and you don't have interaction with all the graduate students to the same level, or you're a master's student and you also need to be able to communicate with the doctoral students, visiting with the department chair and getting that list of graduate students that you can reach out to. Additionally, go ahead and determine what is the best method of communication that not only works for the graduate students you're attempting to communicate with, but also works for you. So maybe it's email, maybe it's Twitter, but you go ahead and determine what that is so you can kind of set the norm, and so students that want to participate can kind of understand the expectations that are going to be associated with communication. Also, tips for getting involved: attend the roundtables. And so if you're going to the regional conference, there's a new professional and graduate student roundtables. This is an opportunity to kind of bounce ideas off individuals, hear fresh ideas. There's also, that we keep on talking about, the meetup social. And so we want to see you there. We want to have some great conversations with you, and listen to your peers around the table share some great ideas that they may have. Additionally, look for other graduate student focused events. Sign up for listservs so content can continually be pushed your way. And identify individual, regional, or national ways that you can get involved, so to kind of broaden your perspective and broaden your engagement. And we believe kind of doing those series of tips will help you be the best gap possible and kind of engage you in a new way of NASPA that very few probably get the opportunity to do. I know, Jamie, you're a gap. Do you have anything to kind of add to those tips and strategies?
Yeah, I think, as a gap, it just really helped me to be able to get involved. that was the biggest start. I enjoy doing things that I'm really passionate about, limiting my involvement to things that really kind of fill me as a person and as a professional. And so being a GAP helped that. I was able to take things at my own pace in the work that I was doing on my campus. You remain very autonomous in the work that you do. And so you're building skills that you don't even think during that program. I'll actually add a little bit to Tyler when you were talking about the ways at the conference that you can get involved. So attending the roundtable, there will be a roundtable hosted by Shannon Schwabler and myself at the regional conference. And that roundtable is definitely an opportunity for people to sign up then and there to get involved. It's a big recruitment time for our KC because we want to say, who are the future leaders? Who are the people hosting the meetup socials? Who are the people writing the blogs or doing the membership spotlights or serving on the leadership teams, which are powerful positions. So check it out, and it'll also be on your graduate student programming guide. In terms of signing up on a listserv, these listservs, you go through your NASPA profile and you have to make sure that you sign up for your region's KC, for your region's new professionals and graduate students KC, to make sure that you're getting those emails. That's where you'll get information about internships, about scholarships, about leadership opportunities, professional development, and more. So take advantage of those because the information that comes out before and after the regional conference are very important to maintaining that involvement. So now we have a question, and actually, Tyler, I'm going to challenge you to ask this one or answer this one. And this question is, what was involvement like for you as a graduate student at your first regional conference if you were a grad student? And Tyler, I think you're muted right now. No worries.
Thanks, Jamie. So my involvement at a regional conference, that's where it actually all began. And so I've been in NASPA, actually in the East and in the West various times in my career. And it's been really kind of breakthrough involvement and getting involved. It's been at the regional level. And so what I think you'll find, if this is going to be your first NASPA regional conference that you attend, is that you're going to find a very close-knit group of people that is welcoming and they want you to be a part of it. And what I love about it is that you're going to find a variety of people in a variety of different positions, from graduate student all the way to senior student affairs officers. And so the way I ultimately got in, I was a little timid at first, but somebody encouraged me to volunteer. And so my first engagement with a regional conference was sitting at registration, handing out packets. And as I sat there, I was sitting next to other individuals that were a part of the conference and just engaging in dialogue. And I felt immediately connected. Having gone to the conference by myself, I felt though I was already kind of finding my place and feeling welcome to participating and assisting in this conference. And so really it's through that little volunteer opportunity that I first determined how easy it was. I could tell that I could contribute to a conference. And from there, I reached out to future conference chairs and asked, how can I be a part of the conference? I live close to the one in St. Louis. What can I do to help? And ultimately, people just end up, if you're willing to work and willing to contribute, people will plug you in and find a spot for you. And so since my involvement in various conferences has grown over the years just by those few simple steps.
Nice. Yeah. You mentioned being more timid at your first regional conference, and my first regional conference was when I was a first-year graduate student, and I was so nervous. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So shout out to the NUFs and, the people who go through SALT, undergraduate students who are like engaged in these regional conferences at this level, because when I was a graduate student, I had no idea the world of NASPA. And so I went to the pre-conference. I got there early and I said, let me just go to the pre-conference. And I did. And it was another situation where someone shoulder tapped me and said, hey, can you see yourself in this capacity? And that's how I got involved with the regional KC. So really being involved at the graduate level was helpful because it allowed me to see that I could get involved in these different things and I could really kind of make my stamp or, place my stamp on a lot of different areas, and there are no boundaries. And so, my goal is always to say that there are no boundaries in the work that you get to do, and that it's not for someone else. It's not for graduate students to wait their turn, but graduate students have a place and are doing really great things within the regions.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question is regarding funding. So the question says, how do you fund the regional conference? I'll share one way is that if you are in Region 4 East, there is a scholarship currently open that will be due October 10th. And that scholarship is for 3 $500 access grants that will cover registration, and we play around with the money, but will cover registration and or hotel or transportation. So I would say take advantage of that, because we always want to make sure that this money goes utilized in whatever space that it is present. So check it out. NASPA for Region 4 East has that available for the scholarships. And there are also different conferences within NASPA, just as a tidbit, that have first-time attendee scholarships and things like that. Another question tied to that was, do the gaps get to go for free to the regional conference? And no, registration is not covered for the gaps. However, the benefits are much more than registration could cover years down the line.
Another couple opportunities that you may consider is if you're going to be attending by yourself, reaching out to other gaps, identify room pairings. Additionally, the 3 internships I mentioned towards the first of the presentation, I believe, I don't have them in front of me, but I believe they're going to cover your registration. And if the opportunity presents itself, those individuals could potentially room together as well to help split that housing cost. So lots of opportunities out there. And also consider look into your graduate programs. A lot of graduate programs will offer some type of reimbursement or various opportunities for particular conferences.
I think those are all of the questions that we have, Tyler. So I didn't know if you had any final thoughts.
When I think about this particular conference, I am really excited about it. So I have loved the NASPA regional conferences, as I've discussed before. These conferences provide the opportunity really for you to have access to anybody that's at the conference. And so if you've gone to a larger annual conference at NASPA, it can be pretty overwhelming with the size of it all and everything that's going on. The regional conferences really kind of cater to the individual participants to a greater degree, at least I believe. Also, St. Louis is easily accessible. And now that you have the 2 regional conferences joined together, I think it provides that much more of an opportunity to kind of engage. If you do come to the conference, I really do hope that you will find Jamie and myself. Please visit with us, kind of engage with the opportunities. We'd love to hang out with you.
Definitely see us there, and just let us know that you're looking to get involved, or whether or not you just want to say hi. Stop us and say hello. We would love for that to happen. We do want to share our contact information with you, so that if you want to reach out prior, you can do that. And again, feel empowered to do that. So my name is Jamie Lewis Flanau, and my email address is Lewis, Lewis, J4 at miamioh.edu, representing Miami University in Ohio.
And my contact information, I am Tyler Page at the University of Missouri, so you can contact me at PageTJ, that's PageTJ at missouri.edu.
And our final hope for graduate students at the conference is that you'll embrace everything that the conference has to offer. Definitely fully engage with your gap or a local gap, as well as Tyler and myself, and that you'll realize that you truly are in the heart of it all, and you have the power to make amazing things happen within our regions. So we hope to see you at the regional conference November 15th through 17th. Region 4 East and 4 West is going to be great. Make sure that you check out our conference website, which is in the description of this YouTube online masterclass, and register. We would hope to see you there. Have a good one.
Bye.